Shasta, come on in. We are gay. One of us is transgender. I don't know if you can tell. His name's Shasta. It's kind of androgynous. It could be girl or boy. You don't know. You don't know our life. I'm just kidding. Today, my nose started spontaneously bleeding. Well, not spontaneously. I cut it with my nail. And then it started gushing blood everywhere. And he came over and he was so concerned. He did a big concern and he hung out with me until it stopped. This is a grade A good boy here. Am I coming out or am I coming in? But that sounds really inappropriate. I'm gonna restart. I'm coming out. I've never done this, okay? I just kind of transitioned in secret and I never was like, hey, I'm a boy now. I'm doing that. I'm transgender, in case you didn't know. I know in a lot of my story times I call myself she, her, because I had a girlhood, bro. I have the best of both worlds, okay? I get to be a boy now, but I experience girlhood, which is great, okay? Girlhood is, I would argue, better than boyhood. I haven't experienced boyhood, but I watch a lot of movies on it, and yes, Stand By Me is pretty lit. Us girls got into things. Me and my best friend down the street plotted this whole plan to stay up all night and go across the street and rescue some kittens that were living in a barn. We ended up falling asleep, but we had a whole plan and everything. Girlhood is more than just makeup, nails, and gossip, okay? I mean, there's a lot of gossip, but there's a lot of other fun things too. The friendship that you get with girls when you're like before puberty are some memories that I'll never forget, and I wish I could have had more of them because I was kind of an outcast kid. But now as an adult, I get to express myself. I'm not in this conservative household with all of these frequently changing rules that were quite ridiculous, quite frankly ridiculous. I'm that trans guy that the media has you worried about, okay? Listen, the only thing I'm indoctrinating is Kraft mac and cheese to change their recipe back to what it was, because that stuff tastes different. Same with cosmic brownies. What did you guys do? Okay, I don't care if there's red 40, blue lake 5, and yellow 6. I don't care. As long as it tastes the same as it did. I'm not gonna poison my insides for subpar snackage. I'm transgender, and I don't have to meet every Sunday to remind myself I'm still trans, to read this book and share it amongst others and convince everybody else to join me and go every Sunday. I don't gotta do all that. I don't do all that. In fact, we just have a Pride Month and we just kind of have a parade and we don't force you to come. We don't tell you you're gonna burn in hell if you don't come to the Pride Parade. I haven't even been to a Pride Parade since 2017. I've only been to one. But if anything, the religions are indoctrinating, because like, you don't get a choice if you're born into a religious family. I was born into a Catholic one and I went to a Catholic preschool. And my first memory is not learning my colors or numbers, to which I was way behind everybody when I went to kindergarten. I remember calling purple green, and everybody else already knew their colors, but I didn't, because instead of learning skills, I watched Jesus get crucified on a cross. And I remember being 5 years old, and I remember them saying, if any of the little ones are scared and don't want to watch this, you can step out into the hall. And I wasn't going to be the first kid to raise her hand and say, yeah, I want to leave. I was going to sit there and be good and not leave, because I knew that they probably wanted me to stay, and I didn't want the teachers to be disappointed if I left. So I waited until another little girl who was 4 raised her hand and said, I'm uncomfortable, I want to leave. And that's when I said, can I go with her? Because maybe there's something more fun happening out in that hallway. Maybe some coloring, other than watching this man get thrown up on a cross, watching blood drip from his hands. I don't want to see that at 5. I want to go color in a coloring book or play on the playground. Well, we ended up just sitting in the white ass hallway. I just remember the floors were white, the walls were white, and I was sitting with this girl and one of the teachers, because we didn't want to see that. Luckily though, after that experience, I went to a normal public kindergarten, okay? In public school, I went to the same public school my whole life, and I didn't go to church on Sunday. My mom grew up going to church on Sunday. She was very Catholic, okay? But when she had us, she was too lazy to take us. And that always made my racist grandpa really mad. You know, kind of weird to be Christian and racist, but a lot of them are. My grandpa would say the N-word around me. There was a lot of indoctrination happening when I was a kid, and some kids that are forced to go to church ever since they're an infant in mom's arms all the way up to 18, they never like have the chance to form their own opinion, because they're just told from birth, yeah, there's a God and there's all these rules and you gotta follow them and you gotta pray and you gotta go to church on Sunday or you're gonna burn. You're gonna burn. And there's gonna be a coming of Christ. He's gonna come back. There's gonna be a rapture. And if you're not a good Christian, if you don't follow all these rules, if you didn't pray enough, you're gonna be left behind. That's effed up to teach kids. But trans people are indoctrinating? No, I don't think so. I didn't even know that being trans was a thing until I was like 14, 15 on Tumblr in the 2010s, which was a hell of a time to be on Tumblr in the 2010s. I just remember watching Sword Art Online and Black Butler and talking to kids, and somebody turned out to have they, them pronouns, and I'm like, what's that? You're like a single person. What do you mean? And that's when I learned that pronouns, they can mean different things, okay? They, them can be used for a singular person. And I'll give you an example. Hey, Mrs. Blank, can I go to the bathroom? Sure, Cassie, go ahead. A few minutes passes. Hey, teacher, where's Cassie? Oh, they're in the bathroom. We use they, them as singular all the time without being intentional. So if somebody's pronouns are they, them, why can't you use them? And I know y'all can remember everybody's new names and genders because I've heard people saying Gulf of America. I'm just saying that it was assigned Gulf of Mexico at birth, but you guys are calling it Gulf of America. You can remember my pronouns. In fact, they're easier. There's one less letter, she, he. It's easier to say, barely by a millisecond, but it is. I'm transgender, and I'm not harming anybody. I was not indoctrinated either. I was raised Catholic, very loosely, but still Catholic rules in the house. Very stern conservative parents. Republican as hell. Guns by the doorway kind of lifestyle. Okay, there were 3 shotguns right by the door my whole childhood, and I knew not to touch them, but that's what I grew up with. All right, we're hardcore Republican Americans. All right, very racist people, both my parents. If anything, I was being indoctrinated to be a conservative, racist Catholic. I didn't consent to that, and I didn't fall for it, and I became my own person because I was able to be exposed to the internet and diversity, and I went to college and experienced more diversity. And I learned that there are different types of humans, and just because they're different doesn't mean they're illegal, doesn't mean that they don't exist, doesn't mean that they aren't worth my respect. They're people. They're human beings, and I'm a human being. I'm transgender, but I'm a human being, and I'm not harming anybody. I grew up in a world where they wanted me to be a certain way, and I came out of it completely different, still finding myself. I didn't know that being trans was a thing until about the end of high school, and I always thought to myself, man, if I could be a boy, that would be nice. I would love to be a boy, but I know it's not possible. But it actually is. There's hormone therapy. There's gender dysphoria therapists. There's surgeries, gender-affirming surgeries. There's even puberty blockers for kids. I would have loved puberty blockers. My parents would have never done it for me because my mom refused to even get me tested for ADHD and autism because she was like, there's nothing wrong with my kid. Because that was a bad thing to be. Autism runs in my family and so does ADHD. Both my parents have it. I just know it. So I just know that even if I knew about puberty blockers as a kid to stop this chest from forming and other things, I wouldn't have had access to it, but that's something that parents that are accepting of their kids should have access to because it's between the doctor, the parent, and the kid. And you don't just go willy-nilly get on it. There's months of discussion. There's insurance making sure that that you're okay, that you really want to do this before they let you do it. There's a lot of checks and balances, you could say. Kids aren't just going getting hearts cut off. That doesn't happen. You got to be at least 18, and you have to have 2 letters from a psychiatrist and from a general physician or just another therapist. You got to talk to the insurance for months before it gets approved. You got to go in and have several consultations. It takes like a couple years. I've never known anybody to get top surgery within like a month, and usually they're over like in their 20s because it costs money. Insurance don't cover it all. Sometimes not at all. It can be $10,000, $20,000. Kids aren't just getting no, but they are getting circumcised against their will. That's a whole conversation for another time. The point is, I'm transgender, and I'm a human being. And even though I was indoctrinated to be Catholic and Republican, I still became my own person. And when I turned 19, I realized I think I am this. I'm at least non-binary. There's something not clicking here. And there's all kinds of points in childhood where it also didn't click. I'll make videos on that. But this is just me coming out and sharing that I am transgender. And I realized at 19 that there was something wrong with me, but that with my dad still in my life, it was not safe to be that because I knew how he felt about transgender people. I heard him talk about Caitlyn Jenner. I heard how he talked about trans people being banned from the military in 2016 by Trump and how supportive he was of that and how he talked about them like they were subhuman. So I knew that it wasn't safe to be myself until my dad was dead. And then he died a year later. Well, 2 years later. So I don't know, I guess I got kind of lucky, but also unlucky because he was my best friend. He was a racist perv, but also my dad and my best friend. 2 things can be true. But he died. I did a lot of nugs for like a year, got sober, and then realized, wait a minute, this all kind of clicks. It all just clicked for me. All of the mixed feelings I had about the longing for wanting to be a boy, suddenly it just clicked. I was 22 actually. You're 22 years old. Your dad's been dead a year. This all is available for you. Give it a try. It was 6 months to a year before I even started testosterone, okay? I went to a therapist. I talked to doctors. I didn't rush it. I made sure. And I think everybody should make sure. Now, that timeline can be different. I don't think you should be like, I'm trans, and then within a week or 2, go do it. Because I've seen people do that, and I feel like that's, me personally, I think you should think about it. Be really sure, because there are changes that don't change back. Changes that happen within a few months of taking it. And I went on it, and I haven't stopped since. There was a gap where I wasn't on it. I went on it for a year, gender affirming care, T shots. I had it for a year, then paused for a bit because of COVID. But then I went back on it. Now I do the gel. I have 3 pumps a day. 3 pumps. Rub on the arms in the morning. Done deal. And it's been amazing. It's been amazing. I feel like every time that I rub it on, like another part of little me heals. I don't understand why that's such a problem. I don't understand how I'm affecting anybody. I don't understand why me rubbing gel on my arms means that I don't deserve a passport. I don't deserve a job that someone else has. I don't deserve health care. I don't deserve moving into a house, because sometimes you can actually get discriminated against because you're trans. For all the things I listed, I might not be able to move into a house just because of who I am. I can't serve in the military because of who I am, just because I rub gel on. I'm not harming anybody. There's pedophiles harming people. Why aren't they banned from the military? Why is a felon allowed to run for president, but I'm the problem? I'm transgender, and I'm not a problem. I'm living my life. I'm not bothering anybody. I'm not telling little kids to go do this. I'm sharing with them that trans people exist, and that if you have any feelings, talk to your parents, talk to a doctor. No one is out here saying, yeah, go get snipped. That's not happening, and you're fucking deluded if you think it is. Give me one source where that's happened, where a child the age of 10 got snipped down there. Yeah, you can't. Because insurances wouldn't do it. Surgeons wouldn't do that. That you're ridiculous. You have to wait till your body's fully grown. Till you're 18 or in your 20s. Sometimes. So that being said, this is my coming out video, and there's nothing wrong with me. You can disagree with it. You can say that you support me but don't respect it. I still exist, and your opinions don't fucking matter. Whether they're good or bad, it doesn't matter to me. Oh, I support you. Okay. Oh, I don't support you. Fuck you. Get out of my country. Okay. I don't give a crap, because I'm still here, and every day I wake up and rub that on, it's a fuck you to all those people that don't think I deserve to do it, that don't think I deserve to exist, that want me in Guantanamo Bay. I feel like I'm resisting every morning when I do it. Every morning that I wake up and take another breath, I feel like I'm fighting back. So that's why I'm still here, even though they don't want us here. I was born here, and this is between my doctor, my therapist, and me. It's none of your business. I'm not causing any harm. I go in the bathroom, I pee like everybody else. I hate public bathrooms, they're dirty. I hate the sounds of other people going. I'm not looking at anybody. In fact, I don't even want to look at myself, because I hate my chest. I'm not worried about anybody else. So you shouldn't worry about me. My point is, I am transgender. I belong here. And you can disagree, but I'm not going anywhere. And I'm not changing. I don't give a shit. And neither should any of you. And if you're trans in America, keep breathing. Because nothing ticks them off more than the fact that we're breathing. And that's step one. Step two is organizing and fighting back. But step one is keep breathing. Keep waking up every day. Keep applying your gel, however you do it, shot or rubbing it in. However you do it, keep doing it. Because that's fighting back. Just existing is fighting back. I am Jesse Dean, and I'm transgender. This is me coming out. My pronouns are he, him. I've been on testosterone since August of 2023. So like a year and 6 months, a year and a half. Now I've missed some days in there because I have ADHD and I forget to apply. So there's probably people further along at a year and a half than me. I'm transgender, and that's okay. And you're okay. And you're loved. I love you. And other trans people love you. And the ones that don't, fuck you. Anyway, that's it. Bye.